Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Patty Rodriguez with Little Libros. Little Libros is a publishing house based out of LA, and we publish bilingual children's books that celebrate the the Latino American experience here in this country. And I am excited to share with you and read to you two of our books. These books are really special because they tell the life story of two individuals that really made an impact here in our country, and these stories are very important to be shared with our children because this allows our children to understand the beautiful diversity that is in this country, and it also helps embrace inclusivity and within our communities. And it is so important for me to share that. When I started, when I was pregnant with my first son, I had this idea of creating children's books that represented my son's culture. We're Mexican American. I'm first generation. My parents came to this country from Mexico. I'm actually wearing the Mexican soccer jersey today to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. So we're very, very proud of our culture. And growing up myself, I didn't see myself in books. I didn't see myself in media. I didn't see myself in magazines and television. And as an adult, I look back and I really realized how that affected me. And I didn't want my children to grow up holding that pain on their shoulders. So my girlfriend, my best friend, and I, Mariana Stein, we decided to create Little Libros for that reason. So our children and the next generations didn't have to carry that weight of not understanding their identity in this country. Are we American, or what are we? We are American. For that reason, we have these books here to share those stories of the people that have created an impact. And with that said, I'm excited. We're gonna start with Selena. Selena is she was an incredible woman. We had her for a very short time, but honestly, I think for many young girls growing up, including myself, it was the very first time ever that we saw a young woman that looked like us, talked like us, and just we really saw ourselves reflected in her. And she was really special, and to this day we hold on to her, we carry her in our hearts. And I can honestly say that she inspired me in many ways to become the woman that I am now, and I forever hold that, and I carry that with me. And I think this book that Ariana and I wrote, it's in honor of her legacy and to share that with new generations. And the book is in English and Spanish, so let's start. The Life of La Vida de Selena. Oh, by the way, before we start, please feel free to ask any questions. We'll be doing a Q&A right after we finish reading these books. I'd love to answer any questions you may have and have a conversation with you all that are currently watching right now. The Life of La Vida de Selena. Selena Quintanilla was born in Lake Jackson, Texas, just right there. Selena Quintanilla nació en Lake Jackson, Texas. Texas in Spanish is Tejas. The most important thing in her life was her family. Lo más importante en su vida era su familia. Here we have little Selena, her brother and her sister, mommy and daddy. Her true passion was music. Su verdadera pasión era la música. Big Bertha was the name of her bus. Big Bertha era el nombre de su autobús. So in Spanish, bus is autobús. Chris Perez was her first love. Chris Perez fue su primer amor. Love in Spanish is amor. She adored her fans. Selena adoraba a sus admiradores. Her favorite food was pizza, which is also my children's favorite food. Su comida preferida era la pizza. Pepperoni pizza, to be exact. That was her favorite food. She had a gift for fashion. Tenía un don para la moda. You know, Selena wasn't just a singer. She was also a fashion designer, and she designed her own outfits when she go on stage, and they were very, I would say, ahead of her time. And I think that's what really, for us young girls, to see a young woman that looked like us, to take ownership of herself and the things that she enjoyed and loved, that really allowed us to dream, you know, and understand that it is possible to do things despite, you know, the challenges that, you know, that are, or our circumstances that surround us. So she had a very, very beautiful gift, and she, while she was alive, she actually opened a fashion boutique in Texas, and I remember me wanting some of her pieces, and it was a dream. I never got to have any of her pieces, but I always wanted something. I think I wanted the jeans. I wanted anything that had her name on it. During her career, she received many awards. A lo largo de su carrera, recibió muchos premios. One thing that really stands out about Selena is that she won a Grammy. Not a Latin Grammy, but, you know, a Grammy. And that's really important. And you know, she really broke barriers. And it's sad that she's no longer here, but the impact that she left behind is, you can still feel it so much. And it really feels that, you know, as if she's not gone, but, you know, she's everywhere. She's embedded in our culture and our traditions, and in the way we live our lives, and she's very, very special. To this day, Selena continues to bloom like a flower. Todavía hoy Selena continúa brotando como una flor. And flower in Spanish is flor. And that's how we remember her, just this beautiful flower that continues blossoming for all of us. So that was the book on the life of Selena. And here we have our next one, The Life of La Vida de Pele. And Pele is regarded as one of the greatest soccer players of all time, even to this day. He joined the New York soccer team in the 70s, when soccer was still very, very in its infancy here in this country. And I honestly think that he single-handedly changed the way this country saw soccer. Before, it was, it didn't have the respect that a sport like that should have, because it's a beautiful sport. And Pele changed that, and now, we have so many soccer fans around the country, and it's because of Pele, him coming here, seeing an opportunity, seeing that he can create change and inspire generations to play this sport, and inspire children that look like him to play that sport and believe that they can. Pele is from Brazil, and he won so many World Cups for Brazil. And it's a story that is definitely a story that we must share with our children, because he came from very, very humble beginnings, and again, to this day, he's the greatest soccer player of all time. Edson Arantes do Nascimento, better known as Pele, was born in Brazil, the country of soccer. Edson Arantes do Nascimento, mejor conocido como Pele, nació en Brasil, el país del fútbol. Brazil is actually known as the soccer country because their soccer team is one of the best soccer teams in the world. And don't fight me. It's true. Pele was named after inventor Thomas Edison. Pele fue nombrado en honor al inventor Thomas Edison. His father taught him how to play soccer with a sock stuffed with newspaper tied with a string. Su padre le enseñó a jugar fútbol con un calcetín relleno de periódico atado con una cuerda. See, and that's where you really, when you share these stories with children, most especially black and brown children, and you see how the people that we look up to in their humble beginnings, how they use whatever they had in their environment that allow them to follow their dreams, that really inspires children to believe that they can be part of spaces where we think are too impossible to reach. At a very young age, Pele dazzled crowds with his soccer talents. A una edad muy temprana, Pele deslumbró a la multitud con talentos futbolísticos. There he is, being a school-aged child, dazzling all the neighbors with his soccer skills. Pele joined his first professional soccer team when he was only 15 years old. Pele se unió a su primer equipo de fútbol profesional cuando solo tenía 15 años. A year later, he followed his heart to play for his country's national team. Un año después siguió su corazón para jugar con el equipo nacional de su país. And that's the ultimate dream for any child that wants, that loves soccer, is to play with their national team, and for him to have been asked to play at such a young age, that really speaks of that talent that he had at 15 years old. Pele won 3 world championships for Brazil. Pele ganó 3 campeonatos mundiales para Brasil. Pele moved to New York and the United States, fell in love with soccer. Pele se mudó a Nueva York y Estados Unidos, se enamoró del fútbol. During his entire career, Pele scored over 1,000 goals. Durante toda su carrera, Pele anotó más de 1,000 goles. To this day, Pele is known as the greatest athlete to ever play the most beautiful game. Todavía hoy, Pele es conocido como el mejor atleta que ha jugado el juego más bonito del mundo. And there we have it, folks. That's the story of Pele, one of the greatest soccer player of all time. Before that, we share the story of Selena, an incredible icon, singer, fashion designer, actress. She did it all. We had her for a short time, but these are the stories that we have to share with our children. And because if our children don't see themselves, how can they believe that they can achieve the things they dream about? And with that said, I think we're gonna answer a few questions. So if you can bear with me, we're gonna flip the camera so I can read those questions. Let's see here. Flip. Okay, here, let's see. Can you guys see me? Okay, let's see. Here are the questions. Hello. Okay, which is your favorite? Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we are. Okay, let's go. Okay. Which is your favorite Little Libros book and why? It's hard to say which one is my favorite, but I think the first book that we published is definitely one that I hold dear to my heart, because again, it's the first one, and it was very challenging both mentally and financially to build Little Libros. So when my 3-year-old, he's now 10 years old, held that first sample in his hand. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional. It really felt like a dream, because we didn't have these books growing up, and I only imagine if we had books that celebrated our culture and our identity growing up, how different, life would be for many of us. How can I purchase? Oh, sorry, guys. How can I purchase the book? You can find our books at littlelibros.com. We directly on our website. Let's see here. What are your favorite books? Oh, that's a beautiful question. My favorite books, kids books, definitely Where the Wild Things Are. That's one of my favorite books. It's such a beautiful book. There's this, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, that's another wonderful book that I definitely, I really hold on to and I love. I love reading to my children. It's something that I do no matter how exhausted I am every night. It's really important for me personally to really encourage parents to read to their children. And to me, the way I see reading, it should be as important as brushing their teeth every night. And we should work on making that a habit. You don't go to bed without brushing your teeth. Our children shouldn't go to bed without reading at least 10 or 15 minutes a day. Let's see here. Let's see more questions. What barriers did you overcome when you started this book company? So the first barrier, I think it was me, believing that I even can do it, right? That was the first barrier. And it was I think that was probably the hardest one and the most challenging, because I think many of us navigate life thinking that we can't, thinking that just because we're not part of this space, that what gives us the idea that we think we can just jump over to a different new space. I don't know, I actually failed to mention, but I'm on the radio in the mornings. You can hear me on air with Ryan Seacrest every morning, Monday through Friday. And I've been doing radio with him for 15 years. I'm still there. But it was challenging when I'm already carrying imposter syndrome, because I'm in a space, again, where you don't see a lot of women like me in this space. And then I'm thinking that I can then start a publishing company when I can't even believe that I'm in radio. So that was the mental challenge for me, to believe that I could be in both spaces where people like me, you don't see. And then after that, it was the challenge of, at first was trying to tell publishers about this idea and how important it was for Latinx parents to have these books. And then when they said no, because many of them said no, then again, it was a challenge of convincing me mentally that maybe I could do this. And that's when I went to my best friend Ariana, and we did it together. She's my best friend. I've known her since I was 12 years old. We're from Southeast LA, and it's crazy to see that these two young girls, daughters of immigrants, can create something so beautiful for our kids. And but I think that's really what it is. When our parents came to this country, they wanted to reach the American dream. And I think I hope that we're doing our parents justice for, or for all their sacrifices and everything that they suffered and went through to navigate a country where they don't even know the language. Let's see here, are there any more questions? Here's saying, ¿les hablas español a tus hijos? Yes, I do. It sometimes could be a little challenging because, you know, we speak English most of the time, but I think it has to be a conscious effort. And at Little Libros, we want to make it easier to have, to be able to have the Spanish language. It's challenging, but it's also very important for anyone. You don't have to be Latino to embrace two languages. If anything, you know, all families and parents should be motivated to read to their, to introduce their children a second language. It's beneficial to them, but it also, we're raising citizens of the world. And when you understand someone else's language, you understand empathy and love and community. Let's see. I think we have time for one more question. Let's see here. Oh, are you taking submissions? Yes, Little Libros is a publishing house, so we are taking submissions. We're looking for talented authors, talented illustrators. And if you have an idea for a book, you have illustrations, you can just go to littlelibros.com, and we have all the submission information there, and you can submit your ideas, your work. And, you know, we really hope that, you know, you have something wonderful to, because we know you all have a beautiful story to share, and we hope that we can be that editorial home for you and your story. Let's see here. Yes, we do have a book series. It's called Vámonos, and yes, the book series celebrates the Latin American countries and cities, and we're going to be adding a lot more countries to that series. I'll do one more question because we're running out of time. Let's see here. Let's just, what's next for Little Libros? We are working on books for older age group. You know, we started with board books, and in the next year or so, you're gonna be seeing books for children up to 9 years old. We also have games, and we're gonna continue working on creating the most quality products that celebrate two languages, English and Spanish, and really encourage parents to bring that into their homes. And we hope that we can continue offering this to you and encourage literacy in these two languages. And again, you can check out our books at littlelibros.com. Thank you so very much, Janie and Jack, for this opportunity. Thank you so much, all of you, for hanging around with me today. You can follow me here on Instagram at Patty Rodriguez. And keep reading to your children. Keep sharing those stories with your kids. And, you know, let's continue giving them opportunities to view humans in a way where it's all about love and empathy and sharing the world, because at the end of the day, you know, we're all here together. We're all going through this together, and it's a very important time for parents and caregivers. Our kids are watching. Let's make them proud. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.